On peut donc renaître et remettre à zéro. Et d'office, vous voyez donc la belle ambiance que nous vivons à la FECAFOOT. Quelle victoire! Bienvenue au 20h.
Qu'est-ce qui va donc se passer en Afrique? Nous sommes avec vous, madame et monsieur. Rebonsoir à tous et bienvenue pour cette...
3, 2, 1, go!
Ok, c'est bon. Bon!
Soil, but in Senegal. The ceremony took place inside a Gambian embassy. He was sworn in exile because his own capital was in the grip of a ruler who would rather burn the country than hand it over peacefully. And then came the turning point. ECOWAS forces, primarily from Senegal in Nigeria, entered the Gambia. They marched towards Banjul. Under mounting pressure, Yahya Jammeh fled into exile. Adama Barrow returned home, not as a hostage to circumstances, but as a president carried into power by both democratic legitimacy and regional resolve. It is precisely this memory that has fueled Cameroonian desires these past weeks. It is this model that Cameroonians have fervently prayed for, that Issa Chiroma should be sworn in from abroad, and that a regional force or some coalition of justice would pressure Paul Biya to vacate, to leave the presidency, to surrender power. So now, with Issa Chiroma in the Gambia, one cannot ignore the question burning in every Cameroonian heart. Is he there to borrow from their experience? Is the Gambian positioning itself to reenact the very scenario that freed them from Yahya Jammeh? The parallels are too striking to dismiss, yet the differences are even more revealing and perhaps more troubling. Let us peel back the layers of the Gambia's statement. It claims that Issa Chiroma is being temporarily hosted to ensure his safety. But hosted from whom? Hosted from what? Hosted why? If Cameroon is a sovereign state, and if the elections were as transparent as Yaoundé pretends, why would the presumed victor require humanitarian refuge? The statement continues, noting that the Gambia respects the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of AU member states, and that its territory, that is, the Gambia, will not be used for any subversive activities against any government. It doesn't name anyone, but any government. This line is critical and it must be noted. It must not be glossed over. It means simply this, and it is that Chiroma's hands are tied. He cannot launch operations. He cannot announce a government in exile. He cannot mobilize political activism from Gambian soil. Chiroma cannot declare himself president. He cannot call for insurrection or an uprising. He cannot even engage in anything that can be interpreted as undermining the regime in La République du Cameroon, that is in Yaoundé. This is diplomatic containment, not imprisonment, but constraint. The Gambia is hosting him, but it is also restricting him This is why Cameroonians must understand the deeper ramifications here. If anything is going to change in Cameroon now, it will not be because Issa Chiroma acts. It will be because Cameroonians act. Let us further examine the other critical line in the Gambia statement. The Gambia is working with regional partners, including Nigeria, to support a peaceful negotiated outcome. Take note of that. Nigeria, that regional giant, whose interests always overshadow any crisis. Nigeria, whose position could tilt either towards stabilization or complicity. What exactly are they negotiating? What exactly? Two possibilities exist, number one, and both are enormous. Number one, they are negotiating Chiroma's capitulation, the surrender of his victory for the sake of stability, peace. The possible option is, number two, they are negotiating the removal of Paul Biya, as they once helped negotiate the removal of Yahya Jammeh. Those are the two chances of what is going on. Which one could it be? The statement does not tell us. It does not hint. It does not even give the illusion of clarity. The ambiguity is the danger. The ambiguity is the intrigue. The ambiguity is a puzzle we cannot yet solve. And then there is the silence of Barrister Alice Income, Issa Chiroma's spokesperson. Her official statement simply confirms the Gambia's narrative, but adds nothing. No insight, no elaboration, no direction, no strategy. Her silence deepens the mystery. It signals that whatever is happening is bigger, more delicate, more sensitive than they are willing or permitted to disclose. But there is another interpretation, ladies and gentlemen, a more sobering one in that matter. Maybe, just maybe, they too are in the dark. Maybe Chiroma is not in control of the narrative. Maybe, just maybe, circumstances have overtaken the revolution's timetable. Nobody knows. This is where Cameroonians must wake up. If change is to come to your country, you must initiate it yourself. You must stop hoping that salvation lies in the exile of one man. You must stop believing that Chiroma alone will dethrone a 42-year-old system of corruption, brutality, and decay. There comes a time when a people must rise like the Ambazonians did, not because a leader instructs them, but because justice demands it. Cameroonians must realize that their liberation is not an imported product. It is a domestically manufactured mandate. Issa Chiroma remains the leader of that movement, of that revolution. Yes, his moral authority is still intact. His legitimacy is uncontested. His victory is believed by millions. But he is not currently positioned to deliver the final blow. His false refuge, call it exile if you must, is symbolic, inspirational, even strategic. But it is also limiting. It shackles him diplomatically. It restricts his voice. It confines his action. Meanwhile, Cameroon is burning. The regime is frightened. The military is restless and divided. The population is anxious. The international community watches. And now, the Gambia has added a new layer of geopolitical complexity to an already volatile landscape. So what are Cameroonians left with? What are you left with? A moment of truth. A moment when you must decide whether you will sit idly and wait for a solution negotiated in foreign capitals, or whether you will seize this historic moment and chart your own path. What are you going to choose? Because here is the undeniable reality, ladies and gentlemen. If Biya is to be removed, dethroned, Cameroonians must remove him. If the stolen election is to be reclaimed, Cameroonians, you watching, listening to the sound of my voice, must reclaim it. If the revolution is to have life, Cameroonians must breathe life into it. Issa Chiruma's temporary silence should not discourage anyone out there. His presence in the Gambia should not be misinterpreted as defeat. On the contrary, it shows that the regime fears him, that regional actors recognize him, and that the international system acknowledges the crisis in La République du Cameroon. But it also shows that the burden of action now rests squarely on the shoulders of the Cameroonian people. The team may produce statements and communiques, but revolutions are produced by human courage. Revolutions are produced by human courage. This development is a signal, not of weakness, but of responsibility. A call for Cameroonian citizens to rise, to act, and to reclaim agency. The war will not free Cameroon. The region will not free Cameroon. Only Cameroonians will free Cameroon. The Gambia's message may be diplomatic, but the implications are revolutionary. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen.
Mesdames et messieurs, l'heure est très grave du côté du Nigeria. La situation est devenue incontrôlable sur la tête de M. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Le chef de l'État nigérien vient de décréter l'état d'urgence sécuritaire sur tout l'ensemble du territoire du Nigeria. Chers dames, chers messieurs, lorsqu'un État prend l'initiative pour décréter l'état d'urgence sécuritaire dans son territoire ou bien sur son territoire, alors c'est que la situation est très grave. Oui, vous savez que tous ces derniers temps, le Nigeria fait face à une pluie inarrêtable des terreaux et djihad. Oui, même dans les églises, les gars s'en vont prier avec des kalachnikovs. Les fidèles ont des armes à main pour prier, même au sein des églises. L'heure est plus que grave. Ceux qui ne connaissent pas, lorsqu'un État décrète l'état d'urgence sécuritaire, automatiquement, si ce pays ne se tient pas sur ses deux pieds, ils vont directement passer sur un confinement sécuritaire. Et lorsqu'on parle de confinement sécuritaire, c'est le plafond, c'est le plafond d'une, on peut le dire ainsi, d'une déstabilisation du pays. Vous comprenez? C'est le plafond. Après l'état d'urgence, on passe au confinement du pays, confinement sécuritaire d'un État. Alors, à ce niveau-là, c'est que il y a Romagne. Mais, qui sont ces terreaux? Ce sont les mêmes chouchous de M. Emmanuel Macron, ce sont les bébés gâtés de M. Emmanuel Macron, financés par l'Occident, par l'impérialiste, financés par les Américains. Mais qu'est-ce qui se cache en dessous? Qu'est-ce qui se cache en dessous? Parce qu'il y a beaucoup de choses que les gens ont négligées. Mais ça va nous rattraper, plus précisément, ça va rattraper le Nigeria. Vous savez que Bola Ahmed Tinubu et son gang de gangsters de la CEDEAO n'ont pas réussi à leur mission du côté des pays de l'AES. C'est pourquoi vous voyez, Emmanuel Macron a pris l'initiative de forcer Donc il a mis sur pied des coups d'état militaires, comme les militaires qui viennent aussi faire des coups d'état. Alors, M. Macron et ses alliés ont pris l'initiative d'instaurer des coups d'état militaires dans leurs multiples pays france-africains. Vous voyez le cas du Gabon, voilà le cas de la Guinée-Bissau. Ils ont compris qu'avec les militaires, peut-être ça peut durer longtemps. Vous comprenez? Ça, c'est de un. Deuxièmement, qu'est-ce qui n'a pas marché? Pourquoi le Nigeria fait-il face avec cette vague de terroristes? Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles et Messieurs, nous allons la décortiquer en 2 phases dans cette vidéoconférence, 2 ou 3 phases. Mais permettez-moi d'abord de vous donner l'annonce parce que après cela, M. Bola Ahmed Tinubu a pris une décision inédite. Il a pris une décision. Mais le contenu de cette décision se pose bien la question, qu'est-ce que ça va aboutir? Ça va aboutir à quoi? Ça va aboutir à quoi? Je ne vois pas le résultat concret que ça va donner. Parce que son pays est désormais sous l'emprise des terroristes. Alors, avant de continuer dans cette vidéoconférence, j'aimerais bien vous dire, pour ceux-là que ça va faire mal, c'est le retour à l'envoyeur. Ceux-là qui ont travaillé, œuvré pour la France-Afrique, pour l'impérialiste. Mesdames et messieurs, écoutez, lorsque l'impérialiste n'a plus rien venant de vous, il vous dégage, il vous met à la porte. C'est le cas de M. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. C'est son cas. C'est le cas de M. Sissoko Ambalo. C'est le cas de l'ex-président gabonais. Vous comprenez? L'impérialiste, c'est ça. C'est ça l'impérialiste. Alors, écoutons voir ce que Bola Ahmed Tinubu a pris comme décision qui surprend même les Nigériens. Ils sont dépassés. Mais mettez un maximum de partage. N'hésitez pas de mettre beaucoup de likes, mais partagez massivement la vidéoconférence. Partagez-la massivement comme vous pouvez, je vous en prie. N'hésitez pas, ne tardez pas de mettre un maximum de likes. Voilà, ça permet de contre-attaquer la vidéoconférence et plus précisément les signalements. Voilà, lorsque vous mettez les likes, ça nous encourage aussi, ça nous motive et ça nous galvanise de continuer de produire les vidéos d'actualité. Donc n'hésitez pas aussi de vous abonner pour ne plus perdre la page et ne plus rater nos vidéoconférences. Selon l'annonce officielle qui a été faite, l'état d'urgence sécuritaire vient d'être décrété au Nigeria. Le président de la République annonce le recrutement de 20 000 policiers et ordonnant l'intégration de militaires, de milliers de militaires formés de manière accélérée dans les champs, dans les camps du corps national de service de la jeunesse. Il a ordonné le recrutement de 20 000 policiers et des milliers de militaires. Vous comprenez? Ces mesures visent à répondre à la recrudescence des violences armées dans le pays. Voilà la décision que Bola Ahmed Tinubu vient de prendre. Mais comment tu peux recruter des hommes pour se retourner contre les bébés chouchous de tes maîtres? Mais je ne comprends pas. Mesdames et messieurs, écrivez-moi en commentaire. Je ne comprends pas. Tu recrutes des militaires, des policiers pour aller combattre les bébés chouchous, les terroristes de ton maître Emmanuel Macron, qui détournent les armes en Ukraine, qui envoient aux terroristes pour venir nuire ton peuple. Alors, vous pensez à quoi? Mesdames et demoiselles et messieurs, est-ce que les terroristes fabriquent les armes? Je crois que non. Les terroristes ne fabriquent pas d'armes en Afrique. C'est le fournisseur. Qui sont les fournisseurs? Leurs maîtres, français et américains. Je vais vous dire une chose. Rappelez-vous de cette révélation que l'un des hauts gradés français avait fait sur un plateau télé. Il avait dit quoi? Je ne connais pas. Écrivez-moi son nom en commentaire, ceux qui se rappellent de ses déclarations, ceux qui se rappellent de son nom. Il avait dit, on doit se faire demander en Afrique. Donc on doit déposer une demande. Et après, on serait appelé. Mais quelle demande? Récemment, vous avez vu M. Donald Trump avait brandi la menace d'attaquer militairement le Nigeria parce que le terrorisme avait pris de l'ampleur. Mais pourquoi il le dit? Pourquoi il fait ça? Alors, mesdames et messieurs, ça là, c'est une organisation européennes et américaines pour déstabiliser le Nigeria. Écrivez ça, vous notez. Parce que déjà la demande américaine est là. Elle a été visible. Monsieur Donald Trump a dit ouvertement que le terrorisme a pris un plafond du côté du Nigeria. Et vous savez, le Nigeria a su son sol comme première puissance économique. Dans les accords économiques, il y a la Chine qui a plusieurs accords économiques liés dans le domaine du transport, dans le domaine des échanges et plusieurs d'autres. On ne peut pas en citer. Vous comprenez? Alors, c'est une déstabilisation du Nigeria qui est là. Écrivez, vous notez. C'est une déstabilisation du Nigeria bien coordonnée et bien ficelée par la France et alliés européens, plus l'Amérique, qui venait de brandir la menace, soi-disant entre guillemets, qu'au Nigeria, il y a un groupe, il y a des terreaux qui sont inarrêtables. Mais qui leur fournit des armes? Sachant bien que M. Bola Ahmed Tinubu a déjà échappé, je crois, à 3 ou 4 ou 5 ou plus, plusieurs coups d'État. Il a échappé. Donc, il y a une procédure de déstabilisation du Nigeria en cours. Oui, il y a une procédure de déstabilisation du Nigeria en cours. Voilà les mêmes qui voulaient combattre les États du Sahel. Aujourd'hui, leur bébé chouchou se retourne contre eux. Ils se retournent contre le Nigeria désormais. Mais ça, c'est une mascarade bien organisée et bien ficelée par l'impérialiste global, américain et européen, pour déstabiliser le Nigeria. Parce qu'au sein du Nigeria, il y a leur adversaire qui est la Chine, qui continue de coopérer économiquement sur ce sol. Voilà les réalités. Sinon, ce ne sont pas les terroristes. Pour arrêter le terroriste, il faut arrêter de leur livrer les armes. C'est tout, ils vont se calmer. Ils vont prendre les armes où? Où vont-ils prendre les armes? Où vont-ils prendre les munitions? Alors, c'est l'impérialiste qui ravitaille le terroriste. Et l'impérialiste leur donne la localisation où aller attaquer. Regardez le cas du Burkina Faso, du Mali et du Niger. Ils ne partent pas là-bas au hasard parce qu'ils ont des missions bien coordonnées et bien ordonnées. Ils ont des missions bien coordonnées et bien ordonnées. Ce tour-ci, c'est le tour du Nigeria. Tous ceux qui ont eu l'échec pour le renversement des États de l'AES, tous seront retirés. Tous seront déstabilisés. Peu importe qui. Tous les pays de la CEDEAO qui ont eu l'échec pour retirer le général Tiani au Niger, Ibrahim Traoré au Burkina Faso, le général Assimi Goïta au Mali, tous ces États-là, les chefs de la CEDEAO ils seront destitués. Vous comprenez? Et c'est ce que nous sommes en train d'aboutir. Observez bien, vous allez comprendre que tous sont en train d'être remplacés dans un système. Ils sont en train d'être remplacés dans un système. On a remplacé Macky Sall. On a mis Bassirou Diomaye Faye. On a remplacé, comment dirais-je, il s'appelle comment là? Le coup d'état d'hier là, Ambalo. On a mis le militaire là. Tous, c'est le même clan. Tous seront remplacés. Mesdames, et Mesdemoiselles et messieurs, voilà la situation que traverse le Nigeria en ce moment. Partagez la vidéoconférence au maximum. Mettez-la partout à travers le monde. Sécurisez la vidéo avec un maximum de likes. Surtout, mettez...
Brave Ambazonian forces in the state of Donga Manton. They carry out a surgical operation and eliminated 2 Cameroon occupation terrorist bees that are responsible in some of the atrocities and crimes that have been committed on the Ambazonian people in the state of Donga. 2 bees early this morning were eliminated. Justice was served on the battlefield. Also, there is a high cost. There is a high unbearable cost. Cameroon is paying, and they will continue to pay for their misadventure in Ambazonia. This morning also, in the state of Donga, an occupation elite force or elite soldier was in a secondary school doing what? Hold on. Was in a secondary school in Mundemba, in this great state of India. What was he doing in a secondary school? An occupation terrorist bee, well armed, in a classroom. Francophonizing and intoxicating the Ambazonian children. Take a look at what is on the board. Grammaire, so their occupation bees have now become educational instructors in Ambazonia. Unfortunately for him, Ambazonian children immediately passed on the intelligence to their liberators. To Ambazonian fighters. And justice was served. The message was sent very clearly, unmistakably, in clear terms. Foreign occupation of Ambazonia by Cameroon occupation forces and their administrators. There is a price. There is an unbearable price Cameroon is paying, and Cameroon will pay for its attempt to occupy Ambazonia using the military. The cost is not only on their occupation forces, there is an economic cost, there is a political cost, there is a social cost. Mr. Biya is trying to fight a war on two fronts. You can't fight Ambazonia. You don't have the resources to fight Ambazonia. You don't have the means to fight Ambazonia. You don't have the capacity to fight Ambazonia. You don't have the resources to fight Ambazonia. You don't have the manpower capacity to fight Ambazonia. And he's opened another front. So now, the Cameroon state, under Mr. Biya, is fighting a war on two fronts. This is why Cameroon is imploding. And their people aren't seeing it. Let's get back to Ambazonia. What you're seeing happening across the board, when you wake up in the morning and two Cameroon occupation elite forces, the occupation forces, two have been taken out of Donga, and then one is taken out of far away in another state, Indian. This is Dr. Cho's laid out clear block by block strategy to stretch the enemy, to stretch them so thin that they become vulnerable wherever they are operating. And this is the result of a military that is stretched to a breaking point. More than 35% of Cameroon occupation forces in Ambazonia have been redeployed to the towns and cities of Cameroon in anticipation of what Chiroma is planning. So the few that are left, they are vulnerable. They've become very easy targets. Because Mr. Biya wants to fight a war on two fronts. They've not been able to fight a war on one front. Now they want to fight a war on two fronts. How is that possible? Fellow good people of Ambazonia, all man a place day, una cafe day up. The liberation struggle, where would they inside? And Cameroon for try say the one occupy the Ambazonian people them. The price where Cameroon they pay them, they not fit pay that price. Cameroon they pay a terrible cost for them for try for maintain their occupation. Now Paul Biya one fight na two war them. The war with the Ambazonian people them and the war against Issa Chiroma. Na two war Biya the fighter. If you never fit for fight one war, you not get the money for fight one war. You not get the people them, the army, the police, the gendarme them, for fight one war for Ambazonia. If you not get them, how you go manage go fight two war? Nothing this way would ask the Cameroonese people them and their colonial dictator. You don't try for fight war with Ambazonia, you not fit. Now you want to go start another war, a war where it too big past even BISSF, it big past the CPD and party SSF, because the war inside Cameroon now a war against Cameroon, a government against the people them. a bit different from the one where they defied the Ambazonian people then. The one now an internal civil war, now a war between Cameroon and Cameroon. The population, na Biya versus Chiroma. The military versus the population. Police versus population. Gendarme versus population. The army versus the population. The population versus CPDM. Now a more complex war. And this war, for all which we don't see them across the globe, all which we don't see them across the world, now this kind of war them, they don't take a country, they turn them into hellfire. With that country, if it takes them 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, that country not ever come back as a country. We don't see these things before. How all these things start? Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, with all the sense we get, he be tell we, for fight Cameroon, you need a plan. For destroy the occupation, you need a plan. If you not get a plan, no go fight an occupation system we don't exist for 50-something, 60-something years. So he create that plan. They call and say block by block. That means say, for all across Ambazonia, the different forces then they come out for the different villages, they come out for the different town, all man na soldier. It go make the Cameroon military. They no go fit fight because they not get the number of people them where they go put them for all the towns and villages and communities of Ambazonia. Because they only get about 5,000 to 6,000 police, army, gendarme, be not only about 5,000 to 6,000 they get them. For a whole territory, with a 40,000 kilometers square, with a population of 11 million. So you get a population of 11 million people in a 40,000 kilometers square, and you only get what? 5,000 to 6,000 occupation forces? And out of that 5,000 to 6,000, about 1,800 and something of them, they already be killed out. And not be all them, don't replace them. So wait till now they see them now. Now, this thing where the Cameroon military, they only been a small for year, small for day, 2 for year, 3 for day. So it be easy now for Ambazonian forces for smoke them out. For Ambazonian forces for take them out. And as we
Life.
go,
Momo. Life. Najela buya moya njela baba geto. Life. No be life. Najela buya mo life. Donga life. No shaki. Buya mo Jela buya moya njela baba geto. Donga. Momo. Jetta manka. Muna di cross. Momo. No shaki. No be life.
So now we don't drain them, we don't stretch them, we don't make them. The few them where they put them now for all the places them, those few them, their life, their name na die. So any place where they dey now, when they only in a tap. They don't take them out. So now the thing the way Dr. Cho put them for down, and now the thing is we don't hold this liberation struggle. That's why Cameroon not fit fight this kind of war. That's why they not fit destroy the liberation struggle. Because not be that something where you carry them, you go put them for some one place. You divide them, you spread them all like oxygen, like air we put that they breathe. You want to go for this side, they did it. When you think say this place on cold, all the other places them now they be active. When you think say Manfred on cold, Mundemba go hit. When you think say they say Mehmed on cold, Fako go hit. When you think say the occupation forces they don't strategize, they move now for Fako. The Ambazonian forces they go hit them for Donga, they go hit them for Bui, they go hit them for Boyo, they go hit them for Ngoketunja. Now they word this, now they send this with Dr. Cho put them. And that's why it be very difficult, even with all the corruption, even with all the bribery, even with all the things that happen on the ground. The Ambazonian liberation struggle, it continues to be the choking point of Cameroon as a state. We don't hold them for neck, tie them. All the problems where Cameroon is facing today, all their problems, including the rise of Issa Chiroma, it comes as a result of this their occupation of Ambazonia. Now they want to go fight the war on two fronts. They don't rig election. The world want them, they know here. They don't carry their country, they push them. Now the day for place a civil war, they can't start. As all when I don't hear, Chiroma don't succeed for come up from Nigeria, go for Ghana. The international community, when I talk to the international community, not be as some only Oyibo people there. International community include Africa. Anything outside of La République, from Nigeria to Ghana, it constitutes the international community. The African Union constitutes the international community. ECOWAS constitute the international community. So when we talk to the international community, make you not only think say we talk now America, France, Canada, and the United Nations or the European Union. I hope say okay. So the international community, they don't start a process. For call Mr. Biateli says here, this political problem we not need for settling. We no want the war for Ambazonia, we never settle. We no want another war for Cameroon. The West, including the president of France, they don't call Mr. Biya and they don't call Kamto. They say, look, we not find a way to resolve this conflict. They don't get a lot of conversation. Kamto don't move. The Nigerian government, it don't help Kamto Chiroma for moving safely to Gambia. Why Gambia? Because Gambia, it faces the same problem where La République face them now. Gambia, it faces this same problem. You get an old dictator who be there, he no one come up power, he rig election, and the young other president talks say, look, commodity for the country run, not through a negotiated process. Not through a negotiated process. It make the current president of Ghana, of Gambia, will be win the election before they be thief and for ye. Not through a negotiated process, they resolve that problem politically without getting Gambia involved in a civil political conflict. So that's why he go for Ghana, because now a test ground, say people that feel rig election, but through a negotiated settlement, the old dictator he come out and they transfer power back to the rightful person who win the election. We will talk about this probably over the weekend. We'll talk about this more and tell you the whole political process and how that thing it happened for Ghana, for Gambia before. And I see now Chiroma is there for Gambia. Now Chiroma there for Gambia. There is a negotiation process, and by the way, the Gambian government, or when I don't see these things for social media, the Gambia government, they don't put out a statement from their Ministry of Communication and Foreign Ministry. The communication there for outside it. The Chiroma, a negotiation process, it go on between Issa Chiroma and Ngongo and the Paul Biya and the Atanganji Paul and the Diongute. There is a negotiation process where they go on. We also understand, say, because Chiroma talk about a liberation, talk about a lot of things, and a lot of the people there, they out there, they make a lot of statements for bound pressure on the regime. Now, two things that they do. They plan for an armed resistance campaign. That armed resistance campaign, now the second option. the first option, now where they work on right now. So all una way, una just want make Chiroma talk say make people they pick up guns, make una wait. These things will not be as easy as all una they think. These things they get a lot of consequences. Yesterday I really talk for one of my mom. Just get this child. These things they get a lot of consequences. For pick up gun, an easy thing. But for stop the gun them, a very difficult thing. I don't see what they happen from Amazonia. It be easy for Mr. Biya for stand for Simalen Airport and declare war. Once you declare that war, you not get control of the process of what happen on the ground, because you not get control of your opponent. It be easy for Mr. Biya for declare the military, the police, and the gendarme for kill the Cameroonian citizens. But Mr. Biya not get control of the reaction of the population. So that's why political leaders for pick up arms, it been at the last option. Even for the Ambazonian people. For Ambazonian people for pick up arms, for defend themselves, it been at the last option. When they already explored all options, everything failed. And once the military start the mass killings of Ambazonians, now for now what people start to defend themselves. So Chiroma and the CPDM party, the CPDM region of Mr. Paul Biya, led by Ngongo, they do a negotiation right now with a lot of international partners. France be involved, the African Union be directly involved for this negotiation between Biya and Chiroma. Mateo wanna play with these things. Some of them will be very disappointed, might just stay on up front. Cameroon will go through the path of a national unity. Of a national unity government. The Biya people them, they fear, say the bad things where they don't do for Cameroon in terms of all the money where they don't thief, all the embezzlement, all the corruption, the money them for road where they don't embezzle them, money them for COVID where they don't just embezzle billions, money them where they sell oil, they go directly for Mr. Biya and Chantal in pocket, money them for the state corporation, for CDC, all the money them for Cameroon, the money them for stadium, all the billions and billions.
sommes déjà presque arrivés à la fin de cette édition spéciale, l'une des chaînes sociopolitiques. Alors, bienvenue donc pour la prochaine